morning everyone, and welcome back to another Sunday meal prep video. I am so glad that you are joining me today. These are one of my favorite videos to film. Number one, because all of y'all love them, I think. Number two, because it sets me up for success for the week. So we have all of our meals prepared for Sunday night through Friday night. I make 2 meals, 6 servings of each, and that's for my husband and I, and then we just alternate those throughout the week. Some people think it's a little repetitive and it's like, oh, you eat the same things. We really don't. We really, pick 2 meals that we really want to eat for the week and alternate those, and then we kind of look forward to picking something for the next week. So it works with us, it works for our lifestyle, and yeah, so we've been doing this now for a couple of years, really since way before I even started my YouTube channel. But anyway, I am glad that you are joining me today. If you haven't yet subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below and that notification bell so that you don't miss any of my videos. And also, follow me over on Instagram. I will leave my Instagram handle for you here on the screen as well. Would love to have you over there. And then also, I have a really great Facebook group. It is called Finding Our Way. This is the icon to the Facebook group, and there's a direct link down in the description box to that group. Highly recommend that you join it. It's a really great group. I co-admin that with Roy from Recipes with Roy and Bree from Balancing Life with Bree. So anyway, with all of that out of the way, oh, one more thing. Also, all of my recipes and everything will either be linked down in the description box below, or I will type it out. A lot of people are like, where are the recipes? They're all always right here within the meal prep video. You have access to them. There's a little arrow right down below the title of the video. If you're not aware of that, on everybody's video, and everyone always has all kinds of information in those description boxes. So check that out. Recipes will be right there. You can copy, paste them, whatever you need to do. I do have some that I typed up that are on the Facebook group as well in the media tab, I think. But anyway, I just wanted to point out that most of your questions can be answered down in the description box below, so be sure to check it out. So let's jump into the video. First of all, we're going to go over our meal prep. Let me grab my new meal that I'm going to try. Okay, so for our 2 meals, so my repeat meal this week is going to be the Mexican meatloaf. It's been a hot minute since we've had it, and I've been craving some sweet potatoes, to be honest, y'all. That's probably my favorite vegetable. So we are doing the Mexican meatloaf with the roasted sweet potatoes and then the California blend frozen vegetables, all roasted in the oven together. That's a super easy meal prep to make, and once you get it all together, it all just cooks in the oven at the same time. Everything will be done between 45 minutes and an hour. And then the new recipe, which this is actually 2 to go together to make a meal, and they were both from that Budget Bites website, which is where I got the homemade chicken noodle soup recipe as well. And this is Chipotle lime chicken and rice. So pretty much it's just seasoned up boneless, skinless chicken breast, and then you're going to cook 1.5 cups of rice in there along with it. I have not calculated the points of this yet. Once I get ready to make it, I will calculate the points and let y'all know at that time. I just haven't had time to plug it in. One thing, I'm actually not going to use the chipotle powder that it calls for because it was $6 and something at the grocery store, and I was like, meh, will I use it again? I don't know. I didn't want to spend the $6, so I looked up and it said that like paprika is a good substitute, that ancho chili powder, which I do have some of that, is a good substitute. So we're just going to make some substitutes, and we're just going to spice it up. And then along with that, we are going to just have some seasoned black beans. So I'm just going to use 2 cans of my regular black beans. I'm not going to drain and rinse them or anything. And then this just has a clove of garlic, some ground cumin, and a jalapeno. So we did chop up 1 fresh jalapeno today, and that is for the black beans. So that should be a nice little spicy dish like we like. And then for my desserts, I am going to have my chocolate peanut butter protein cookies, because it has been a hot minute since I have made those, and I have half a can of pumpkin left in the fridge from when I made the pumpkin muffins last week, so I want to use that up. And yeah, so that is on the agenda for the day, so let's just hop right into it. Alright guys, we are ready to get started with our meal prep today. So this is everything that Mr. Charlie is going to prepare for me. So we've got chicken breast over here. We're going to use 3 chicken breasts for the meal. I'm not sure if we're going to do them whole or slice them in half. Either way, if we do them whole, then he's going to like have to pound them down and kind of make them thin. And then the chicken will be sliced at the end for this chicken rice chipotle dish that I'm making. But we shall see. He may just slice them lengthwise in half so that there are 6, already pieces, which sometimes is easier. But anywho, I'm just gonna like let him go with that and do whatever he wants to do on the chicken. Of course, we have the peppers to dice up as normal. I do have one jalapeno. This is for the black beans that I'm gonna make to go along with the chicken and rice. And then I have this beautiful tomato that I got from Kroger yesterday. And then we have 4 sweet potatoes. He will peel these and dice them up. This will be one of our sides with the Mexican meatloaf. I have my cantaloupe and pineapple as normal. The pineapple's looking pretty ripe and they're pretty small, so I'm definitely glad that I got 2 of them. But the cantaloupe, it feels hard as a rock, but you know, sometimes looks are deceptive, so we shall see how that turns out. And then, of course, I have my blueberries that I will just wash in the vinegar and water. So that is all that he has to prep today. I'm going to head in here, get a shower, get ready. We actually have Miss Luna up here, although she's mad at me. This cat has an attitude, y'all. Ooh, did y'all see that? It's because I tried to make her get down. This is why when you have cats, they're in charge. For people who don't know that. But anyway, she got her feelings hurt because I tried to make her get down. Now she's mad at me. She'll get over it. So, this is his prep. I'm going to throw the chicken back in the fridge because he always preps that last after he does all of the fruits and veggies. Say bye, Luna. You still mad? Yeah. Okay. I love you. Yeah, this cat has a bad attitude. She's really sweet to me though. But when she gets mad, I mean, she really gets mad. Okay. Let's roll into Charlie's prep.
You got that something, baby, that I can go without, just like a poison in me. You're all that I'm about. Loving the highs, don't mind the lows. It's getting out of my control. I want that something, baby, 'cause I can go without. Mama used to tell me love ain't right if it ain't easy, but I'm in too deep to walk away from you. Papa used to tell me love should never drive you crazy, but I'll lose my mind if you don't get his suit. I'm addicted to your love, to your love, your love. I'm never gonna get enough. I'm a sucker for your love, for your love, your love. I'm never gonna get enough. You can end it, say it's over, but I'm never going sober. I'm addicted to your love, to your love, your love. I'm never gonna get enough of your love. I want your love. I need your love. 'Cause I'm never gonna get enough. Can't say I'm hurting, baby, but I don't feel too good. It's like I'm burning lately when you're not in my blood. Loving the highs, don't mind the lows. It's getting out of my control. I need your loving, baby. It's all I'm thinking of. Mama used to tell me love ain't right if it ain't easy, but I'm in too deep to walk away from you. Papa used to tell me love should never drive you crazy, but I'll lose my mind if you don't get his suit. I'm addicted to your love, to your love, your love. I'm never gonna get enough. I'm a sucker for your love, for your love, your love. I'm never gonna get enough. You can end it, say it's over, but I'm never going sober. I'm addicted to your love, to your love, your love. I'm never gonna get enough of your love. I want your love. I need your love. 'Cause I'm never gonna get enough of your love. I want your love. I need your love. 'Cause I'm never gonna get enough.
All right, everyone, we have our pineapple, our cantaloupe, and our blueberries. As usual, we're going to throw them in here real quick, get them in the fridge out of the way, and then we're going to do the Mexican meatloaf and the sweet potatoes and the veggies and get those in the oven, and then we'll be ready to start on the other meal while that's cooking. So let's try to be productive and efficient today.
Now that I'm looking back, I can see all the signs I tried to fill in the cracks that were spread in my mind, but I was all out of hope, lost in an endless maze. The emptiness had unfolded just like a
Okay, I have my fruit and yogurt ready to go in the fridge along with the tomato. Charlie had to use this bigger container. That was a huge tomato, y'all. One of the biggest and best that I've seen in quite a while from Kroger. And then I have my nice container of bell peppers. I did get 4 this week because I was running a little low and I ran completely out this morning. So I'm glad that I did. I like to always have a little extra come the following weekend for my pizzas and breakfast and stuff like that. But I'm going to throw all this in the fridge. We're going to get started on the Mexican meatloaf. Okay, everyone. So with the Mexican meatloaf, we are going to have the sweet potatoes and the California blend veggies. I'm going to go ahead and get those ready. Actually, I need to preheat the oven too. I'm just going to preheat it to 400. So preheat your oven to 400, and then I'm going to go ahead and get the vegetables and the sweet potatoes ready, and then as soon as I get the meatloaf in the muffin tins, it will be ready to throw in the oven, and it will all cook together. So I'm going to tilt you down here. Okay, so this meal is super easy because we are going to use frozen veggies, California blend, or Normandy blend, or broccoli, or whatever you want to use. It doesn't really matter. So I just had a little bit left in that bag, but of course I have another bag here that was in my grocery haul yesterday. Okay, so that looks to be about enough veggies, and then the only thing that I'm going to season it with is the Montreal steak seasoning. My battery's going to die. I'm going to see if I can get this on here real quick, and then swap out my battery, and we will start on these sweet potatoes. This is pretty spicy, so I would either go light on it, or you don't even have to use this. You could just do salt, pepper, garlic powder, you know, whatever you like, but we like this nice little kick that this steak seasoning gives it. So that's all that I do to that, and it will be ready to throw in the oven. Let me swap out my battery and we will do the sweet potatoes. Okay, so here are the sweet potatoes. What we're going to do with these is just spray them really well with the extra virgin olive oil, put some Himalayan pink salt on them, and some cinnamon. And we're going to do it a couple of times so that they are nicely coated. So first of all, we're going to go in with a good dose of olive oil spray. And then some of the pink Himalayan sea salt. And then we're going to go in with some cinnamon. And then we are just going to stir it really well. And then we're just going to go through all of it again. Olive oil spray, pink Himalayan sea salt, and cinnamon. We're just going to stir it up, and it should be good to go in the oven. I may just spray it a little bit more on the tops right before I put it in the oven with olive oil spray. But for now, we're just going to let it sit and wait, and we are going to go mix together the Mexican meatloaf. Okay, I am ready to start on the Mexican meatloaf. You're going to need 1 pound of lean ground turkey, a can of the diced chilies. The recipe calls for 2 egg whites. Since eggs are 0 on the blue plan, I just like to go ahead and put 2 whole eggs in there. Some enchilada sauce. I actually prefer the medium, but all they had on the website was mild, so we will just deal with it. It calls for like some kind of breadcrumbs or something. We like to use this corn muffin mix by Jiffy. I do use the whole pack. It does end up making each muffin 3 points, which we have 2 of them, so it ends up to be a 7-point, well, not meal, because it'll end up to be more like a 10 or 11-point meal after I add the sweet potatoes. But this is so good mixed with it. We've tried it other ways with just cornmeal and other things, and we just love it with this, so that's what we eat it with. But this is in the Weight Watchers app if you want to pull it up, Mexican meatloaf, and make whatever modifications you want to it. And then we're going to use some chili powder, some ground cumin, and of course salt and pepper. So all we got to do is throw it together, put it in the muffin tins, and it is ready to throw in the oven. Okay, I am going to just put my ground turkey in the bottom. Okay, good. That doesn't have one of those pieces of paper. Let me wash my hands. Okay, so I have my 1 pound of ground turkey in there, and we are just going to go ahead and salt and pepper that. Just to your taste, however much you want. And that's kind of my feeling on all seasonings. I mean, some recipes, which this one does specify because it's a Weight Watchers recipe, it's in the app, how much ground cumin and chili powder to put in. I really don't pay attention to that. I just put however much I want. I'm gonna crack my eggs actually into a separate bowl. I should have put those in first. I just don't like to crack them directly in there. Hold one moment, please. Okay, so I have my 2 eggs here. I'm gonna go ahead and put those in. Go ahead and go in with our chili powder and our ground cumin. Y'all know I love that, so it's one of my favorites. And we're gonna go in with the whole can of the green chilies. And we're gonna do, which really I needed a smaller can of this. I think this was a substitution yesterday. They sent me the bigger can. So we really don't need all of this. You're supposed to put in half now and then half on top and then cook them for 5 more minutes. So we're just gonna put in about that much, maybe a little bit more. And we'll just keep that and then we'll put some on top at the end. And then our Jiffy mix, I almost forgot. And then we're just gonna stir it all up, and it will be pretty runny, but then we're gonna put it in the muffin tins and they come out as perfect little meatloaf muffins. All right, I got my muffin tin. Everything is mixed up well. We're just gonna go in with some of the baking spray. These will tend to stick, so I suggest spraying them well. And then I will just use my ice cream scoop to scoop them out into the 12 muffins. Ready to go in the oven. I actually am going to lower my oven temperature. I put it at 400, but I noticed the app says 375, so I'm just going to lower it to 375. So I'm going to put the meatloaf, the sweet potatoes, and the veggies all in at the same time. I will probably set a 30-minute timer. The meatloaf has to cook for about an hour. You take it out like the last 5 minutes and put the rest of the enchilada sauce on top and then put it back in. So after about a half hour or so, I'm going to kind of swap things around because everything won't fit on the same shelf. And then we will pull this out, top it with enchilada sauce, and let it cook for just a few more minutes. But 375 is what I'm going to lower my temp to. Okay, we are ready to plate up the Mexican meatloaf. Each one of us is going to get 2 of them in our containers. Mine will be the pink, Charlie's will be the blue, because I will probably weigh out 4 to 5 ounces of sweet potatoes in mine and then just give him the rest. We shall see, but we each will get 2 muffins.
There's no need to complicate things. Let's stick to the basics. We both know what we want. Let's just keep it simple. Oh.
Okay, and then for the sweet potatoes, I don't really know how many ounces are in here, but I think I'm just gonna do 4 ounces in mine, which pretty much fills up one of these little containers here. There we go, 4 ounces exactly. So that's exactly 4 ounces of sweet potatoes. So that's what I'm gonna do in all of mine, and then give Charlie the rest.
Leave us till tomorrow. So I'm down a trip with you. Leading no follow. Leave us till tomorrow. So I'm down me. So I'm down me.
I'm gonna go ahead and add 1 more ounce into mine just because there's so many left over.
Give in and keep yourself thinking. Tonight, let go as you're dreaming. I was feeling down low. You just brought me straight up. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Okay, so we ended up doing 5 ounces in all of mine, and then Charlie got the excess that was left. And we are just going to divide the veggies evenly. They are 0 points, of course. Try to stir them up. They've been sitting out here for a minute. They've kind of cooled off and stuck.
So won't you let me trip with you? Leading no follow. Leave us till tomorrow. So won't you let me trip with you? Leading no follow. Leave us till tomorrow. So won't you let me?
Okay, here is the completed Mexican meatloaf with roasted sweet potatoes and roasted veggies as well. Mine is going to end up to be, what, an 11-point dinner, 5 points for the potatoes and 7 points. No, that's 12 points. Ha, I can't count. Mine's going to end up to be a 12-point dinner, 7 points for the meatloaf and 5 points for the potatoes and 0 for the veggies. And then Charlie, of course, just got a lot of extra potatoes in his. This is a super yummy meal, and we always enjoy having this occasionally. So now let's make our new meal, which is the, Chipotle chicken. So let's get to it. Okay, I am getting ready to start on this Chipotle lime chicken and rice. This is from budgetbites.com. I have all of my ingredients here. So you need 3 chicken breasts kind of pounded thin, which is what Charlie has done. And then we need all of these seasonings, onion powder. You're supposed to have chipotle powder, but it said that paprika and ancho chili powder could be a good substitute. So I'm just going to kind of do half and half. We need, 2.25 teaspoons of it all together. So I'll probably do like 1.5 teaspoons of each one or something like that. It'll be fine. And then some ground cumin and garlic powder as well. It calls for 15 ounces of diced tomatoes, which these are 10-ounce cans. So I'm just going to use 1 can of original Rotel and then 1 can of fire roasted Rotel. It calls for 1.5 cups of chicken broth. So this whole can should be about 1.5 cups. And then it also calls for 1.5 cups of long grain rice. I'm just going to use my jasmine rice instead. It also calls for some things I'm not going to use. Shocker, yellow onion. I'm not going to use the onion or green onions. And also cooking oil. I'm not going to use the cooking oil. I will just use my spray because usually that's to kind of cook down the onions and stuff. So anyway, leaving that out so I don't have to worry about the cooking oil or anything. I will just cook the chicken, brown it on each side. It says it doesn't need to be fully cooked, just brown on both sides. And then you basically remove the chicken from the skillet, and then you add in the onion, saute until softens. I'm skipping that step. And then you add in the spices and saute for a minute more. And then you add in the diced tomatoes, the rice, the chicken broth, and the lime juice. Basically, you stir that up and combine it, and then you're going to put the chicken back in. And so at that point, the chicken will kind of continue to cook. And then you turn it down and let it cook for about 15 minutes. Let it come to a boil. And then turn it on low and let it simmer for another 15 minutes. Then my next recipe that's going to go along with the chicken and rice is just some seasoned black beans. So we have a diced jalapeno here for these, and then you're just going to add in a clove of garlic, which I would just use 1 teaspoon of my minced garlic. It also calls for cooking oil. I'm not going to add that. And then 2 cans of not drained black beans. So we're just going to season those up and eat those that way. Hopefully they will be good. So let me get everything together, get a skillet going, get it hot, get the chicken cooking. Let's get it done. Okay, so we are ready to get started on our chicken breast. We have salt and peppered it, and then I have mixed up my seasonings here. And it says to use about half of it to coat the sides of it. I've coated the back side, and then we're just going to go in and sprinkle some on the tops and rub it in to coat the top, and then we will get it in the skillet. And then you just save the other half of the seasonings for later, and we will add those to the skillet then. So I'm just going to kind of rub that in. I'm going to get my skillet on, get it heating up. It smells nice and spicy, y'all, FYI. So I'm going to spray with the olive oil spray in my skillet, and in we're going to go, which hopefully all 3 of these will fit. They are huge. We're going to make them fit. Okay, so it's going to take a few minutes for this chicken to brown on both sides. I'm going to go ahead and get my chicken broth open, my Rotel open, my jasmine rice measured out, the lime's ready to go, and that way we will just be ready once the chicken's browned. We'll take it out and then start putting everything else in. So I will be back. Okay, so the chicken has been browned on both sides. I think it is done enough to go ahead and take it off. If I can get them out. Because again, this is going to go back in and finish cooking with the rice and stuff. They're falling apart actually. Okay, at this point you're supposed to add in the onion and cook it until it's softened, which I'm skipping that part. So it says to go ahead and add in the seasoning. So I'm probably just going to go straight on to the next step, which is adding in the broth and stuff, so that I can go ahead and get these burnt bits scraped off the bottom of the skillet. So we are going to go ahead and add in the diced tomatoes. I've got 1 can of fire roasted rotel, 1 can of original rotel. I'm going to put in this whole can of chicken broth. It calls for 1.5 cups. This is right at 1.5 cups. Probably just a little under 2 cups. And then the juice of half of the lime. Let me put that in. And 1.5 cups of rice. I'm going to kind of stir this up good and scrape those little bits off the bottom. Okay, now we're going to add our chicken back in, and we are going to put the lid on it and bring it to a boil and let it set for at least 15 minutes. I'm going to push the chicken down in there some. Making a mess, per usual. Alright, so we need it to come to a boil. It says to put the lid on it. Once it comes to a boil, we're going to reduce the heat and then leave the lid on for 15 minutes. And then we're just going to turn the heat off, and it says to let it set for 5 minutes before removing the lid. So that's what we'll do. And in the meantime, we're going to work on the black beans. So here is our black bean recipe, if it will focus on that. It is also from budgetbites.com. It seems very simple. Slice the jalapeno. It is already done. Then we are going to add the jalapeno and the minced garlic into a pot with cooking oil, which of course I'm just going to use extra virgin olive oil, and the cumin, and then we're going to saute that for about a minute, and then we're going to add in the beans, bring it to a simmer, and let it set for about 10 or 15 minutes. You can salt and pepper to your taste. So it just calls for 1 clove of garlic, so we are just going to go in with 1 teaspoon. And we're going to go in with all of the diced jalapeno. So we are at a boil, so I'm going to turn it down to low. And I'm going to set a timer for 15 minutes for the chicken and the rice. And this we're just going to heat for a minute or so. You never want to burn your garlic. It does burn easily. And we're going to go ahead and add in the ground cumin as well. It calls for about half a teaspoon or so. And I think this is just about ready to add the beans. And that's pretty much it for the beans. We will just let this set here and simmer for 10 or 15 minutes. And I'll taste it here in a little bit and see if I think it needs anything. I'm sure it probably needs a little salt and pepper. In fact, I may just go ahead and add a little. And we should have a meal done here in about 15 minutes or so. Pretty easy. I'm going to clean up and start getting everything ready to make my chocolate cookies. I don't know if the lid goes on that or not. It doesn't say to put a lid on it, so I'm not going to. I'll just let it sit here. Turn that heat down. Okay, so we have the chicken and rice done. Charlie came in here and cut up the chicken breast, and I tasted it. It tastes really good. It almost tastes like, I don't know, like a jambalaya or something. We'll see as we eat it this week what we think about it. But yeah, tasted pretty good. I'm just going to kind of eyeball it and measure it out into these 6 servings. And with all of the ingredients that I use, this should be 6 points per serving on the blue plan, because the only thing that would have points would be the rice.
Almost don't remember how it feels when you lay down in an open field, when you saw my dreams are turning real, so unreal.
Okay, and then we have the black beans that we cooked with the jalapenos and minced garlic and a little salt and pepper. So I'm just going to divide this evenly by eyeballing it as well.
When the sky is blue, I know I do. In a summer state of mind, we've been wasted all the time. In a summer state of mind, in a
are the completed Chipotle chicken rice with beans. It tastes very good from what we have taste tested just from getting it out of the pan. So we shall see this week how we like it, but it had a really good flavor and it cooked up real easy. So this could be a winner. We shall see. Later in the week we will give a full review on it. Okay everyone, I am ready to start on my cookies. For this you're going to need 1 scoop of the Matrix peanut butter cookie protein powder, 1 scoop of the PE Science Select in the frosted chocolate cupcake. I'm going to use 1 heaping tablespoon of baking powder. I'm going to do 10 grams of the Hershey's Special Dark Cocoa, 5 grams of the sugar-free Jell-O fudge pudding mix, half a can of 100% pure pumpkin, and then 14 grams of the Lily's no sugar added dark chocolate baking chips, and then about 130 to 150 grams of egg whites, just depending on the consistency. These come out to 1 point for 1 cookie and 2 points for either 2 or 3 cookies on the blue plan. Then I have my baking sheet over here, and of course I would just spray it with my Pam baking spray. So let's get started and get these cookies put together. Okay, first we're going to do 1 scoop of the peanut butter cookie protein powder. 1 scoop of that. And these are linked in my Amazon store if you're interested in ordering them. I think that's the easiest place to get it. You can also usually pick them up at like the Vitamin Shop or the Nutrition Factory, places like that. We'll do 1 scoop of the chocolate protein powder. And we're going to do 10 grams of the Hershey's Special Dark. Perfect, 10 grams. And then we're going to do 5 grams of this. I'm not going to tear out the scale because it won't start reading until it reaches 5 grams. So it's on 10 right now, so I'm just going to go up until it is at 15. There we go, perfect. Then we're going to go in with our baking powder. I like to do 1 big scoop. You can do less if you want to. That's getting a little low. I'm going to have to get some more of that. And then we are just going to mix this until it is well combined, and then we'll add in the wet ingredients. Okay, so that's mixed pretty well, so we are going to go ahead and go in with our canned pumpkin. Perfect, so that's 216 grams of pumpkin. And then we're going to go in with about 150 grams or so of egg whites. And then we're just going to mix that well, and then we will be ready to add in the baking chips. Okay, so I think that consistency looks pretty good. It's almost on the runny side, so we will see how these cook up today, but we're just going to go with it. I think it will be fine. Now we're going to go in with 14 grams of the Lily's dark chocolate baking chips. And I'm just going to mix these in real quick. I'm going to clean up, and then we will portion these out into the 12 cookies. Okay, so everything is cleaned up. We're going to spray our baking sheet. And we're going to divide it into 12 cookies. My dandy little cookie scooper here.
You know that I can't seem to focus when you're getting close to me. We're like a broken record, spinning round and round all year.
Okay, these are ready to go in the oven for about 9 to 10 minutes or so, just depending on your oven. You don't want to overcook them. Usually 9 minutes does it for me. I feel like this one is a little bit of a thinner consistency, so it might take another minute. So 9 to 10 minutes or so based on your oven. Could be a little more, could be a little less. 350 degrees. Okay, here are the cookies. I just pulled them out of the oven. I left them in for exactly the 9 minutes and they seem perfect. So I'm going to let them sit here and cool, and we will be ready to wrap up this video. Alrighty, we have finally finished meal prep for the day. It is 5:30, so it didn't take me as long as it did last week, that's for sure. Over here I have my 7 containers of fruit along with my 7 containers of yogurt. This is the Chipotle chicken with rice, rotel, and stuff like that, and then some black beans. This is 6 points per serving on the blue plan. Just because of the rice, everything else would be 0 points on blue. Of course, always, like I say, recalculate your own points just to verify that everything is accurate. And then over here we have our Mexican meatloaf with the roasted sweet potatoes and vegetables, and I'm counting the sweet potatoes as 5 points and the meatloaf as 7 points. They're 3 each, but with Weight Watchers math it does round up to 7. Charlie, of course, he got the extra sweet potatoes in his because he does not count points or calories or anything. These are always one of our favorite meals. I have to say that this is probably my favorite Weight Watchers recipe, even though we modified it and make it a little bit more in points by using the Jiffy mix. It is so good, y'all. So filling, super delicious, all of the above. You're satisfied whenever you eat this meal. And then over here, of course, I have my scrambled eggs and bacon for the week. And then we have our chocolate peanut butter protein cookies. So all in all, I think I have completed another successful meal prep. Okay guys, thank you so much for joining me for another Sunday meal prep video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you try some of these recipes. Please let me know down in the comments if you are going to try them or if you have and what you think. And yeah, thank you to all of Jennifer's Gems that always make it to the end. I love you guys. Y'all are the real ones, and I will see you all in the next video. Mwah.